Hello, people. Nice to see you. Hard. This is difficult. Hard day. Okay, look, we've got a lot to talk about here. I'm going to wait for a few more people to arrive. Oh, hang on. I'm going to wait for a few more people to arrive before we get into this. It's cold. It's cold here. In actuality, it's cold. But it's also cold. I feel cold. I'm cold in the heart. I mean that. I've been following politics quite closely for quite a while. You know, I grew up in the Cold War, in the Cold War, which was difficult. Which was difficult because you're ignorant as well. You're young. You don't really get it. That was frightening. But like I say, let me get the. Don't worry. This will be brimming with optimism and hope, because I will never take optimism and hope away from you. Never. I will only give you that, and there's a reason why. Because there is always hope, and there is always a reason to be optimistic. There is, because that's how you live. That's how you face struggle in the face. It does nothing to you but weaken you. You know, ask any military commander. One of the best things you can do is demoralize your enemy, because you've won them before you even fire a weapon. Boxers know this. Mike Tyson's career was built on this. Mike Tyson made such a name for himself as being a quick, hard-hitting fighter. And you step in the ring with that, you know, you've got to get it right plenty of times. He's only got to get it right once, and bang, lights out, you're on your back. So let me just sort out the housekeeping. I think we're going to get a few more. Probably get but that's not a good start. Hello, we're back. No, not just dancing. I'm what? Twitter's saying I'm in the category just dancing. Yeah, that's right. I've nearly lost my mind that much. It's been really hard at work today as well. There's COVID issues. God knows what else is happening. Brexit issues. You know, real life stuff, which is all right. That's real life. That's why it's called work. But let me just get this housekeeping. 111, nice. We will get into this, people. I just don't want to start before people have got here, because this is an hour than when we usually get going. Right, I'll get the grift going, and then we're done. Already had a can of Bacardi Sweat today. Finishing it here. Oh, funny story about that. So my missus gets quite bored of food, right? Because I'll eat the same thing every day. I really will. I'll just have my prawn fried rice, because it's made at a little place at the end of the alley. I can make a phone call, or I can just walk down there, get a bit of fresh air and a bit of sunshine. And I know what it's going to taste like. No decisions need to be made. Bosh. That's my dinner sorted. But she got bored, right? She gets bored. Hang on a minute. Let's try this out. She gets bored, and so today she said, I'm going to get something different. I sort of forgot about her saying I'm going to get something different. And let's put a bit of colour in my cheeks. And so she goes downstairs to collect the order, and she comes, puts, hello Yaf, good to see you, mate. Puts my food just at the end of the table there. Excuse me. There you go. A bit of colour. That's a bit more bearable, isn't it? There you go. I've never had food poisoning. I've never had it. I think I've had it in England, actually. Anyway, listen to this. Nice to see you, Yaf. Good to see you in town. Nice to know you've been lurking as long as you're here. Lovely. And so I get my little bit of food sorted out. As I walk up towards the kitchen area, there's a plate with about 20, what are they called? Oysters on it, cooked oysters with like lumps of garlic and bits of vegetables. And I was like, what? And I smelt one because I like oysters, but not cooked. No. And I thought, what is she doing eating oysters? And the next thing I heard was, she's in the bathroom. She only tried one, and she's going, very hard not to absolutely laugh. I was just cracking up. I just was cracking up with a big pile of oysters. And as soon as I thought, what? That's a weird choice. Anyway, right. Hello. You know how it works around here. Hi. You can support this channel using the super chat, which is the $ just down there, or Entropy. Entropy donations get put on the screen now because I think that's only fair. So there you go. If you want to use Entropy and you've forgotten the link, just ask me for it and I'll give it to you later. I'm quite happy to sacrifice a couple of days out of my working day to do this fantastic stream, this fantastic community, because a few quid does get thrown at the stream, and that's all worked out nice. There you go. Doing a Butch Seagull impression. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, get that Picari sweat off that Picari mouth. Okay, so here's the truth. Things are pretty bad. I am seeing people desperate for information. There was a reason why at 8 o'clock this morning we had nearly 300 people at one point, because I put America. I put about America and power in the title. Can't remember what I called it. Something like America and power or something. You know, we don't get 350 people in the morning. People are desperate for information. And here's why. I watched BBC News, right? I watched the BBC News, and it was this article on YouTube. And it was like breaking. I thought, right, there's so much to talk about. Let's go. No mention of Parler being wiped off the face of the internet. No mention of Gab getting nearly 1 million. That's 900,000 new subscribers. No mention of that. No mention of 70,000 people leaving Twitter. No mention of Twitter's stock plunging something like $6 billion. No mention of all of that. No mention of Airbnb. Saying they're checking out what Facebook pages people belong to, and anyone who's ever shown any support of Trump, if they can identify it, you're banned for life. Anyone who's ever had anything to do with Trump, apparently, Airbnb. Let me see if I can find the article. All about lists at the moment. There's other lists being made. Forbes Bank. Yes, you can still. Gab's still up and running, but they're on Gab. They're trying to shut Gab down. What Andrew Torba done? Andrew Torba's the geezer that owns Gab. What he done was got his own server. So you'd think that they're protected against what happened to Parler. I mean, Parler's gone. Parler has gone illegally. They've broken the law getting rid of Parler. That's illegal. Right? Yes, Brian, that's all I saw on. That's all they were talking about on the BBC News. That's the story. Trump's impeachment. First of all, they're trying to get Mike Pence to do this 25th Amendment lark, where Trump's mental or something, so Pence takes over. You know, this is Marxism. Facebook changed their terms of service, so you're not allowed to talk about the fried erection. You're not allowed to talk about that. You're probably not allowed to here. You're not allowed to on Twitter, and you're not allowed to on Facebook. Do you know what that is? That's what communist states do. You're not allowed to criticize the party. My mate who lives in China said to me, out in China, the freedom of speech is more than in the West. But the one thing you can't do is criticize the party. And that is what Silicon Valley are doing. You can talk about this, you can talk about that, but you can't criticize the party. You're not allowed to criticize what the Marxist Democrats are doing. You're not allowed. Doesn't exist. I mean, it's absurd. Absolutely absurd. I don't see how I can find that. You all right, love? Here we go. Here's one. I found one. Airbnb said on Monday that it is reviewing reservations in Washington, D.C. area. Hang on. What a surprise, an advert. Ahead of next week's presidential inauguration, and will bar any guests associated with hate groups or violent activity. There's that word, hate. Hate groups? Well, what's a hate group? Well, that's up to whoever. That's whoever they want it to be. It's whoever they want it to be. But they're going for. So that's Airbnb. They've put their flag in the ground. Forbes Bank want to make a list of anyone and everyone who worked in the Trump administration, right? Find out where they're working, what businesses they work in, and out them. So say someone who worked in the Trump administration goes for a job at a local butcher's shop. Forbes want a list of all those people, and so that people can not shop at that shop until they're fired. So no Airbnb, no holiday, no job. You can't work. You can't have a job if you worked for Trump. But don't worry. This, like I said at the beginning, there's hope here. There's optimism here. There's optimism here because this is such an overreach. This is such an incredible overreach. Even the people on the left, I guarantee it, will be starting to question their position now. This won't be about Trump. Trump, the bogeyman, has been and gone, and now they're trying to erase him from history. And look, and I get it. There's still a few people who think the plan is working. The plan is happening. It's going to happen. This is going to happen. There's a chance. There's a chance that there's a plan. There's a chance. Of course there is. A chance that anything can happen. Chance a spaceship can come tomorrow. But I've never seen anything like this happen in America before. I've never seen such blatant communism. I've never seen such blatant authoritarianism. Channels going from YouTube. Steve Bannon's channel gone. Rudy Giuliani's channel, just apparently he's having all his content. Can't show that, can't gone. And BLM are talking about making lists. BLM, an organisation in a racist America that managed to get $9 billion off of those racists. They're quite well equipped. They've got the corporations behind them. They're talking of making lists. I wonder what lists they're going to make. Racists, nationalists, right-wingers, anyone who's ever said anything against them. Because that's what they want to do. That's what they'll have to do if they want to stay powerful. They'll have to eliminate the opposition. It's quite the thing. And Gab. So like I said, Andrew Torba done his best. We've got our own server. Go and make your own. If you don't like it over here, go and make your own platforms. You go and make your own. Nice one. Parler's gone, by the way. It's gone. It's not like you can't get it on the App Store or iTunes. It's gone. The actual thing, that whole concept, because they're not communists. They're not supporting this incredible madness that's going on. So it's gone. It's completely against the law. But they proved that law doesn't really matter at the moment. Now, what they're doing to Gab, even though Gab have got their own servers, what the Marxists are doing now, they're trying to get to them via ICANN, the registry service, the bit where you actually register your domain name. It's the ICANN registry. I think it's IICAN, if I remember rightly. The International Internet something. Let me just get that right. Rather than just telling you that nonsense, I can give it to you so you can check it out afterwards rather than me make it up. Where is it? See if I can find out what it's called. It's very difficult because when you... Oh, yeah, ICANN. ICANN. Now they're trying to get at them. They're trying to tell them that, Gab? What, Gab? They're hateful. They're on the far right. They're Nazis. Yeah, you shouldn't be supporting them. And, ICANN, they're going to be with the old who control everything. They'll be friends of theirs. ICANN, the leaders of ICANN, I'm guessing, may well have had meetings with the likes of Zuckerberg and the rest of that crowd. This will be a phone call. Yeah. No, nice one with Parliament, that, but we've got to talk about Gab. Doesn't matter if you've got your own server. If you can't have a domain name, gone. And I am telling you, this incredible purge of not just truth, because there's something more here. It's not just that this isn't just a purge of truth. This is a purge of reality. This is a purge of reality. And there's a slight difference there, because the truth is what people say. But reality is what they say it about. And we're being stripped of the ability to see in a world of communication. This is called the information age, and we're being denied it. We're being denied the ability to communicate. We're being denied the ability to see where once there was vision. Hang on a minute, people. Hang on a minute. I promised that it would happen, and it will happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Bastard, regular supporter of this channel. And he says this: Gab are having trouble, presumably due to new heavy traffic and Tor playing catch up. Deutsche Bank and other banks have closed Trump's accounts. Yep, coming to that. So yeah, Gab have had 900,000 new sign-ups. So that's going to take some processing. So that might be the problem they're having. We can't judge them necessarily as going, but they're after them. They're after them via ICANN. Yeah, Deutsche Bank, and I think is it the Hanover Bank, or is that the Deutsche Bank? They're closing Trump's accounts. German bank accounts closing down Trump's of a successful accounts of a very successful businessman, just to damage him, just to cause him problems because he supports the wrong side. What is that? You can't bank. You can't go online. You can't do this. You can't do that because you've got. There's only one. You're only allowed to support one side now in America. You're only allowed to support one side, or they'll start coming for your bank accounts. They'll start coming for your internet accounts. They'll start coming for your social media accounts. You start ending up on lists, which means you can't get employment. When they came for Alex Jones, 2018, he disappeared. Do you remember one afternoon? Thank you very much, Chris Holloway. Much appreciated, Chris. 2018, they came for Alex Jones. He's a bit of a lunatic, but that weren't the point. That weren't the problem. The point was, on one afternoon, poof, 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 disappeared from various platforms. They got together and they agreed to get rid of him. Let's make him disappear. Let's get rid of him. And he went. And everyone said, it's going to be you next. You know, you don't care about Alex Jones, it'll be you next. And then Red Ice went off of YouTube. Then the Iconoclast, computing forever. He's dared to interview experts about the coup. Gone. And now the whole of America is like this machine of silence. Shut up or you'll pay. Shut up or you'll make sacrifices. We're making lists. And you lot are losing the ability to communicate about it. It's quite something, people. It's quite something. English loyalist, Yatte, my friend. Planning to get off YouTube soon. I doubt I'll be here much longer, to be honest with you. But I will sub to your Patreon or Subscribe Star. Don't want to be around Google or the Tube anymore. Scary time we live in, but there is a new frontier out there. As soon as I can find somewhere else to stream safely, I'll be there. Don't worry. Do not worry. There's always hope, my friend. There's always hope. And thank the Lord we have the internet. And we do have the internet. Thanks for the donation, mate. And look after you and yours. It's really quite bizarre. You talk about the German banks. Even Merkel, Angela Merkel has stood up and said to Twitter, yeah, I don't know if you should have done that. And that's what I mean about overreach. This is what I mean. They are shutting everyone down. You may not criticize the party. Follow me on Telegram, people. That's where you need to follow me, because if I do get yeeted, that's where you'll see me setting new stuff up. And if I do get yeeted from here and I can't stream, I'll be doing daily videos on BitChute or something where I just do like this, but there'll be no interaction. But I spoke to Ray earlier this year and he said they're rolling out live streaming. So at some point I will be able to do that anyway. Here's my Telegram, t.me/Strangerfield. So if you're not on Telegram already, get on Telegram because we're safe there. They haven't banned anyone. And we can communicate there. And we're going to need to communicate. Why do you think they're stopping us? John B says, I would delete this morning's stream to prolong the inevitable ban until BitChute streaming is up and running. No, I will delete it, but I want to give it a few hours. I think I'm under the radar and I mean, it's kind of inevitable. I mean, I have done the best I can to protect my channel. I'm no longer reactive, we're proactive. I got rid of all the stuff I said before that was over in any way edgy. And I thought what I can do is I can talk about stuff, how we can strengthen ourselves, mentally, spiritually, financially, aesthetically. And yet I think we are moving into times where even that won't be enough. I think we'll be moving into times where no, you agree with the party or you've gone. Nice one, Harry. It just, I feel like it just needed to be said. Hello, Jean. And look. I know that. I know people are saying that. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, now you're saying, oh, this will wake people up." I think there comes a time when it does. I think there are a lot of people in America realizing what's going on. And I think America's kind of different to the UK in that respect. You know, America has got a different relationship with freedom than Europe. Hello, Alan. Sorry about your headache, Chris. Having to be a lurker today. I'm at work. Hope you're feeling better, my friend. Nice one, Alan. It was yesterday. I know they're only going to last a day. By about starting at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I know that by about 9, 10 at night, I'll be up. And by midnight, I was watching videos with the brightness turned down. But thank you, Alan. Much appreciated. You are allowed to lurk, but don't forget to lurk at work. Don't forget to lurk on your work as well. It was you that told me they can't be trusted. Yeah, for sure, Zen, for sure. And I think it's a question of when people. I think this is a fair point. I think there'll be leftists now. I think there'll be leftists at the moment questioning their position. Lots of them as well. I really do. There'll be people thinking, "Hang on, I didn't sign up for this." It's all very well thinking that the Twitterati are your average leftists, but they're not. They're not. They're the Twitterati. These are the lunatics. These are that lot are just gone. They're out there. But there'll be leftists looking at what's happened and thinking, "Well, I either support this or I oppose it." You can't just sort of go, "Well, I don't fully support it." I think so. I think so, Paul. And like someone said on this morning's stream, I think it was on this morning's stream. I don't know whether it was said here, but look at the state of the Democrat Party. Look at AOC here and Pelosi here. Oh no, they're the same. That's the same ideology for sure. I mean, that's a crisis right there. It's an absolute crisis, and they're trying to get Pence to sell out on Trump now. This 25th Amendment lark, and if that don't work, they're going to try and impeach him, and that's got no legs at all. I don't think this 25th Amendment and this impeachment thing. I mean, the last one was just nonsense, and this one is. I don't think this is anything but another distraction. This is just to fuel the machine of Orange Man bad. Oh, he's been so bad for this country. Oh, he's a lunatic. We've got to throw everything at him. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. We've just got to try because it's what's right for the people. Yes, it might need some silencing. Yes, it might mean some of the most draconian censorship this country has ever seen. But come on, just in case. That's what all that's about. It's a nonsense. Now, we are going to get a few years of absolute laughs out of the Beijing Bidenists. That it's just going to be incompetent. They're already divided. They're already a party that's just a state. They're a government which is divided. So that's already going to be hilarious. Their leader is barely breathing. Did you see him have his jabs today? I thought they were reanimating him. Once they got it in him, he was like, bzz, bzz, hello. I reckon it was probably a bit of sulfate or something. And then you've got 2022, which will be, after 2 years of that madness. And look, all this stuff, these German banks, the Airbnb lists, the Forbes lists. What else have we got that we've talked about already? What they've done to Parler, what they've done to Gab. You're not allowed to criticize on Facebook. They changed their terms of service. You're not allowed to criticize the transfer of power. You're not allowed to be in any way critical about it. That is in their terms of service, right? Right? You are allowed to criticize the 2016 transfer of power. Yeah, no, there's no problems there. You can outright just criticize that. So they haven't changed their rules to stop you criticizing changes in government in America. No, just one. What? I think this is going to be interesting. And yes, I know people say, is this another one of these? This is going to wake everyone up. Is this another one of these? Blah, blah, blah. It works at some point. At some point, people do wake up. At some point, people do start doing something. History has shown that. I can understand that it's demoralising. You see the sort of stuff that's happened in the UK and you think, well, if that hasn't woken everyone up, nothing will. But history argues that point. History has shown that there is a point where the masses say no more. And I think we're approaching that rapidly. I do not support any political violence. I think there's far more mature and sophisticated ways around these things. But there is a time when people say no more. Leon Squared, thanks for that donation. Leon says, I was a leftist most of my life. Me too. A few years ago, I was a leftist no more. I was a pacifist all my life. Now I'm a pacifist no more. Go careful, Leon, saying things like that. Seriously, I'm serious. People are having their accounts shut down left, right, and centre, and that what you just said could be translated quite badly. I know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying, you know, where there. This is I said it this morning. A dark, cold winter is upon the USA. You know, someone joined as a member, and I can't see who it is. Harry P. Nice one, Harry. Thank you for joining. You might get a couple of weeks out of it. Oh, there it is. They are. Nice one, Harry, and thank you, Leon. Yeah, all these. Well, I think so. Yeah, and they know why, because they won't let all that fried stuff happen again. There'll be no second fried erection. That, you know, when you've got 4 years to take those things to court, to expose those things, while they're keeping busy, keeping China happy. I mean, look, you can talk about Islam, you can talk about Israel, you can talk about Al Qaeda, you can talk about demographics. All problems, none of them, or even all of them, compared to the threat of China. And the Democrats, they've outright said it. They've outright said they support China. The information that China's got on American behavior alone is just terrifying. You know, all those other things, they pale in the shadow of the Chinese threat. China poured more concrete last year than America has in the last 100 years. That's the speed that monster is growing. More in a year than America has in 100 years. No, I think you might want to look a bit further into China. There is that as well. Yes, of course. Yes, Monty. They're going to do that. Well, I've told the story before. When China made steel and they got all the communes to melt down all their agricultural tools and all their woks and that, and all the steel was collected and dumped into the river because it was useless. But 100 years later. There you go. Another one. That's a crazy thing to say. They have no interest outside their border but doing business. And have you seen the nature of their business? My friend lives there now. He's been out there for 25 years. Have you seen Africa? Come on. Absurd. Oh, all right, okay. Well, we'll see. Neither of us can prove that now, but I think that I think that's very ignorant, very naive to think that they are, without a doubt. You obviously don't know what China are trying to do to Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Singapore, and the endless attempts to buy those places. Bombed? What? This isn't the 1940s. Yeah, I don't think I'm really talking about bombs. I'm not talking about land armies or anything. I'm talking about trench warfare. Hello, Fusion Reactor. Nice one. Hello. Yeah, I might have to get a Linda tonight, actually. I'm certainly out, and I'm going to need something and a cup of tea later. I just can't. You know what? I just can't believe that there's nothing on the BBC or the Guardian websites about any of what's happening. It's all about the impeachment. It's all about the 25th Amendment. No, don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about all the other stuff that's happening. It certainly is, John. It certainly is. It's going to be a really, really strange time. I am concerned. Yeah. You can only just about see the article. It comes up like 3/4 of the page. Oh, while you were here, and they say, what is it? We support a free and fair journalism. Oh, the Guardian. Now, listen, I do understand. I need to say this, and I know people don't really like this bit. I do understand that there are a lot of people. Hello, Jack. I know that there are a lot of people who are saying things are still happening, that there's still rumblings, that until it gets to the 20th, wait and see. I understand why you'd hold on to that. But I think we're past that now. I think we are past that. As I said earlier, there is a chance. There's always a chance. But I think that kind of stuff gets whipped up. Like I said the other day, I was over on the dark net and I see one thing on it's like a message board, kind of like 4chan, but it's dark net stuff. And the message board, one person mentions the Insurrection Act. Someone else says that someone else said it. Someone else then mentions that geezer Monkey Works, who that I think he's an ex-fighter pilot or something, and he traces all the movements of military aircraft. And it's kind of engaging, but no one really knows what he's talking about because no one else really knows what's normal for military aircraft. And, he the other day said this and he apologized and got it wrong and it was wrong information. I understand why people like that. And Rowdy Rascal, while I agree with you, no, IP freely, it's all right. I got it off loads of people. And I did say to you, I hope so. I hope it is. While I agree with you, Rowdy Rascal, I don't like this Copes thing. And I'll tell you why I don't like the Copes thing. And I mean this. And I've used it myself, Mr. Rascal. I'm not pointing the finger. I've used it myself. The reason I'm not going for this Copes, I don't like the idea of the cope anymore. Because it's got a touch of the denier about it. If you don't believe in the church of climate change, you're not open to critical faculties. You're not open to different information. No, you're a denier. And there's something wrong with that. And when someone says it's just a cope, it kind of takes away that's a bit like saying you don't agree with the church of a particular position. Yeah, it's just a cope. It's just a cope. Well, not always. It might not be. And the problem with accusing people of coping is I think it works against us in being able to speak about things that aren't in the mainstream, that people don't want to hear, that are being targeted, and people will start pulling back a little bit. and people will start being scared of spreading information because they think they might get attacked. That's just a cope, when occasionally and frequently it will be, but it's not always. So I think it's important, if someone says something that you don't trust, like a lot of this Insurrection Act stuff, you should actually explain why, rather than just calling it a cope. Because, as I said, much like the denier stuff, I think that's a bit dangerous, and it can work against us. But I do agree with your point, though. There are a lot of people happily taking things on, and I'll tell you why. Hang on. Oh, I like that. Nice one, Rags. I'll tell you why. Yeah. I understand it. I understand. When I was over on those message boards, my heart started pumping faster. Information was coming in. My source tells me. My source in the CIA. My source here. I've heard this. Monkey Work says this. So and so saying this. And you start thinking, hang on a minute. Hang on. And I was starting to go, well, hang on a minute. Hang on, what's all this? Hang on, where have I been getting my information from? The mainstream media? Well, I'm going to trust them. I'm going to trust channels that YouTube is still allowing. This is where it's happening. And I get that because we are desperate. Our power wants to know what copes are. The idea is that, like the QAnon people, right? The QAnon people have been saying trust the plan for years now. And now Trump is out. They're still saying trust the plan. They reckon this is part of the plan. They reckon that it's all going to plan. And the idea of a cope is you're just coping. You're coping with the reality of a very dark time in America. We're coping with the fact that the communists are winning. So people are accused of coping. So it gets caught. Someone will say, it's just a cope. But I think it's a bit dangerous because it kind of writes something off without being specific about why, and that could be a problem. That's a great point. Anyone telling you to cope right now will no doubt have been coping for 24/7. Yeah. But I get it. People, there you go. Yeah, hopium or copium. I've heard them both. Yeah, Simon Parks. I mean, look, he's a classic example. Simon Parks sits there like he's got mates who run the American military. I just had it on the phone at 4 o'clock this morning. The first words he said to me was, "This is not a drill." And unless you've been in the military, the geezer's an ex-Labour councillor who once said he fucked an alien and he's got an alien baby. I mean, remember that when he's telling you that this is all going according to plan. Take that into account. However, don't think I didn't watch the next 30 minutes of that video, even though he's mental, because there's something about us. There's something about us that doesn't want this to be happening. Mousecat has been quick to point out on a channel that does often talk about addiction that copium is less addictive than hopium. I'm happy to peddle hopium around here. It's not addictive. Well, it is addictive, but for the right reasons. But I think it's important to say that. I think it's important that you understand why people go running for these things, especially younger people. Imagine, I remember what it was like being 13 years old in the Cold War. You're going to bed at night thinking that while you're asleep, your skin's going to be burnt off of you. That's quite tricky for a 13-year-old. So when you hear stuff that makes you think it's all going to be all right, you lower your critical faculties a little bit. And as I said, and I'm putting my hands up to this, even though that man's mad as a hatter, it's kind of convincing until you start thinking, has any evidence been put forward here beyond? I got a mate on the phone who told me something, you know. Well, Rufus, there was so much stuff around in those days, weren't there? Pop music, TV shows. It was terrifying time to grow up. I think that's why maybe people of my vintage, anyone who grew up in the 80s, you know, anyone was a teenager in the 80s, we can look at what's going on today, and compared to the 80s, although this is very different, I'm not thinking of nuclear war here. I'm thinking of a communist coup, which, don't get me wrong, is, you know, one of them's like having your legs cut off and one of them's like having just one leg cut off. I mean, I had such an hard time back then. Well, IP Freely reckons he served in the Cold War. Mate, I've got PTSD from the Cold War. Yeah, we've been there before. We've had it on this channel that's come up about 5 times, threads on this channel. I mean, look, I think, yeah, Alistair's all over that QAnon stuff. It's a bizarre position to take, because on the one hand, he's telling you actually what's going on, and then the other hand, it's like it's all going to be fine because, trust the plan. So again, really, all I can really do. This is very good. All I can say, really, you know, I've given you the new information that's come through the Parler thing. They're trying to attack Gab through ICANN. You got the BLM, Forbes, Airbnb, all talking about making lists, and you know those lists. First of all, it'll be people who work for Trump. Then it'll be people who supported Trump. And then it'll be people who don't support the party. And we can now refer to them as the party. Because how's there going to ever be opposition again if you're not allowed to criticize the party? You know, it's a one-party system at the moment. The United States is a one-party system because it's illegal to organize against them. Trust the glands. But there are things you can do still. You can still understand that this is just a struggle for resources. This is what has always happened. And you have to maintain your strength. You have to maintain your optimism. And that's what I said right at the beginning. I'll never take hope and optimism off of you, because that's doing the work of the enemy amongst our ranks. We need to stay strong. And being strong isn't doing it when it's easy. It's doing it when it's hard. It's doing it when you want to just give up. It's doing it when you want to just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna crawl back into my cave. I'm gonna pay my taxes, keep my head down, and see my life out. Look at that. This is my Cambodian motorbike taxi driver. All right. I have never answered one of his calls ever, because I don't need to talk to him until I need him to drive me on his taxi if I'm drunk or something. I have no idea why he rings me. And every time I call him to get on his taxi, he never says, "Oh, I called you the other night," ever. And he calls me about once a week for some reason. So listen, sorry for that slight distraction, but staying strong means staying strong when it's hard to. Being hopeful means being hopeful when it's hard to, when you feel like giving up. And if you give up, we lose. If you give up, you lose before you've even had a fight. You know, you give up before you've had a chance. People saying he just wants a friends and he's probably lonely. He can't speak a word of English. And my Cambodian is not good enough to have even any conversation with him. I literally get on the back of his bike and say, home. And then he'll turn around and go, home? Yeah. So maybe he is lonely. Maybe he does just want a friend, but I'm not that person. I think in Phnom Penh, in the capital. To be honest with you, I think he's drunk. I think he gets drunk and then he's like, hey, maybe he can buy me some more beers because I've spent my £1.50 a day earnings. There you go, Steve. There you go. Yes, John, great stuff. Great stuff. And again, there's no future, there's no past. It's right now. And right now, your life hasn't changed that much. That's not to say things aren't happening. It's not to say don't observe things and don't stay aware. Quite the opposite. Get involved. Move to these platforms where you can keep communicating. And I really mean this. If you're not on Telegram, you're off your head. Because I wouldn't be surprised if you're not on Telegram, in 1 month, you're going to have lost connection with most of the channels you watch. If they're getting rid of Dave Cullen, Steve Bannon's whole account has gone. And this, look at what they were doing even when Trump was in office. Now they've got carte blanche to wipe Parler away, again, I stress, illegally. There's already laws in place. Some good news, actually, as far as all that goes. What's his name? Hang on. I think the geezer from Rumble. Rumble? It's like a new YouTube. It's like a new BitChute, should I say. It's a free speech platform, Rumble. Worth checking out, actually. The geezer from Rumble is taking Google to court because Google have been messing with the search results to put YouTube videos higher than Rumble videos. So Computing Forever is back up. Is he? That's very interesting. He hasn't told me, although I haven't checked my Skype today. I thought he said he wasn't going to appeal it. He's back up. How the hell? Amazing news. Amazing. Hang on, let's have a look at his video, people, because I know that this will be this is news to me, and I know the fella. Let's have a look at this. Hang on, 3 days ago. So when did he... I haven't seen this video. Let's have a look at this. It's only a couple of minutes.
So in the UK, Chris Wishy's...
That ain't it. He hasn't made a comeback video. But that's his main channel. I wonder when that happened. I'll have to ask him right now. Can anyone tell me when it happened? They reinstated it. No reason given. Welcome to YouTube, people. That's his livelihood. Hang on. Let me ask him. I'll see if old Davey boy will give me a reply live. No, he certainly does, Mortuary Artist, but that Computing Forever with 500,000 subscribers is his main channel for sure. Oh, look. Oh, John said something well dark. Imagine they started doing that. Yeah, he's just got back to me. He just said, yeah, crazy. There you are. Yeah, crazy indeed. Yeah, right. He says, I've made my peace with the banning. Yeah, I think I'm free of YouTube. Well, that's interesting. He might not. The channel will. This is what he's saying. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling you. He says, I've made my peace with the banning. I'm free of YouTube. The channel will be deleted again, I'm sure. I'm getting great numbers on all tech platforms, so I don't need YouTube anymore. Fantastic. Sick of their treatment of me. I've just got to reply to him. He's hit the nail on the head. He said, "I'm so much happier now. It's a weight off." He's made his decision. I imagine he'll probably upload onto YouTube, but that'll now be like his secondary. Do you know what I mean? He'll now probably concentrate on. I'll ask him if he wants to come on. I doubt he will. I think he's a bit sketchy about my channel. I mean, we talk and that, but I've asked him. Hello, Sezu. How are you? Oh my God, he said he'll come on. Here we go. Here are Dave Cullen's coming on. There you go. How exciting. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're totally excited that Dave Cullen's coming on right now. Yeah, look how excited everyone is. It's like an exclusive, isn't it? It's like a coup. I'll tell you what, after the other 50 minutes we've had of this stream, which has been some pretty heavy and dark material, it'll be nice to get Dave on. He's probably just doing his hair. How exciting. But it's interesting though, isn't it? Interesting. I think Dan the Iconoclast was much like that. When his channel first went down, he thought, you know what? I can celebrate coming back, getting my channel back. But once you've been sliced once, you know, you're on their radar. It might be a weird threat, you know. Stop saying what you're saying, calm yourself down, wind your neck in a bit, or we'll be back for you. And it's, you know, it's so disheartening, because how do you spend every day waking up, making videos, editing videos, doing all the other stuff? Oh, listen, this isn't me getting my old violin out, but having a channel is more than just this. You've also got to stay engaged with everything that's happening. You've also got to be able to talk about things critically and entertainingly. You've also got to look after all your different outlets and social media. It's quite a thing maintaining a YouTube channel. So I think once you get that, he probably had a couple of days thinking. He thought he knew it was coming, and you know what? I'm done with him. And he is doing well on other channels, on other platforms. Dave, computing very rarely.
Hello, sir. How are you?
That's not your accent. What kind of imposter have you sent on here?
It is my accent. What are you talking about? That's how we speak in Ireland. Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it?
I'll tell you what. We've had such a heavy stream because, as you know, what's going on in America is not entertaining. Actually, it's darkness. But then I got that news about your channel. Now you're here. Everyone is really cheered up. It couldn't have been a better end of stream moment. So thank you very much. Tell us, what the hell's happened?
Yeah, I woke up today and checked the email, and they were like, "You've got a crap ton of copyright content ID claims on your channel, Computing Forever," because apparently when you get reinstated, the algorithm does some weird wonky stuff where if anybody's ever hit you with a content ID match, you know, for something simple, it comes up again. And I was like, what do you mean? At what channel are you talking about? It's gone. Like, and then I checked and it was like, oh, it's reinstated. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Chris, I really had quite a nice day on Sunday, on the day of the banning. I went out with a friend and I just sort of made peace with it. I knew it was coming for a long time.
Sure.
And once you've drawn a line under something, I mean, it's like going back to a job where they treated you really badly and they're like, would you like your job back after we treated you like shit for ages? And I'm like, no, I'm more than happy now to just, I mean, look, I was looking at this on BitChute. my sort of goodbye YouTube video got 35,000 views overnight.
Wow.
I got 6,000 on Gab TV. Sorry, what was it? I think 4,000 on Gab TV, 6,000 on Minds, and a couple of thousand on Odyssey. And I'm like, that's basically the same as I'd get on YouTube.
No, incredible. They're going for Gab though. I heard they're going for Gab via the ICANN thing.
Yeah, they're gonna go after them. They're gonna go after BitChute, as you know, through legal means, aren't they? I mean, they've already started that process with the Home Office in the UK.
Yep.
So yeah, they've got different avenues, but I think as well, public sentiments, even on the left, is like really anti-censorship. That are going.
Well,
Okay,
this is what I came to. This is what the point I'm coming to. There must even be leftists at the moment thinking, hang on a minute, I don't know if I can support this. I heard that Merkel has stood up for Trump not being banned from Twitter.
Yeah, you never know. They mightn't. Some of these politicians mightn't be completely on board with some of the ideas of the Great Reset and all that. And they're like, yeah, we went along with this and this, but oh shit, this might come back and backfire on us eventually someday. So they're probably like, I don't know. And I'm starting to get that sense with a lot of this. I don't know whether you're aware, but there's been a few like high profile, not to go into the COVID thing, but scientists and well respected people have come forward now. And it's even happened in Ireland, it's happened in Thailand, in the UK. Saying, well, maybe immunity has been achieved in certain circumstances. And, it's like, what? Hold on a second now. So I wonder if they haven't sort of gone, it's like the dog that chases the car and then gets it and goes, what the fuck am I going to do with it now? They've sort of got everything they want. And now it's sort of like, maybe we've gone a bit too far here. I don't know.
I just want to talk to you a little bit, or I'll ask you, because my channel's, it's barely on their radar. But when I first started it and it started building up, and I was just telling everyone it's quite hard work keeping a YouTube channel going, all the other little weird bits you got to do, and staying engaged with all the news, and I was quite happy to put all that work in. But as soon as I realised at some point I was going to get yeeted, I think a bit like what you were saying. I've just been. It's not the same as it was, because I know it's not full time. It's too risky to put too much effort into it. And I kind of understand. I think a bit like the Iconoclast when he first got banned. I understand that idea where you've just thought, you know what? Like the words you said to me was, you've made peace with that banning, and rather than going there again, put your efforts into alt tech.
Well, I'm lucky. I remember having my first conversation with Bill Ottman when Minds was really not very well known, and someone sort of recommended Minds. And what do you think of this? And Milo had been banned on Twitter. So we were looking for a Twitter replacement at the time, and Minds is a bit more like Facebook, admittedly. And I contacted him in 2016, and we had a few conversations. And then I said to people like Sargon and a few other people, some big names, and I said, why don't we do like a migration sort of thing? And gradually that kicked off. But then I had conversations with Andrew Torba back when Gab wasn't very well known. So I was lucky I got in the door pretty early with all the others. If this had happened last year, Chris, I probably would have been a bit more, oh, this is going to hurt a bit, but it honestly hasn't. And I'm not dependent on it from a revenue perspective. I'm sort of independent there. So it's, I'm able to carry on largely. And I have to be honest, I've probably kind of benefited from Trump's banning, because he brought so many people over to Gab. Anyway, I've had a huge spike. I think
they reckon 900,000 people overnight.
Yeah, I think I've doubled my Gab followers in the last 48 hours.
Well, there you go. Not all bad then. You've done all right out of it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of other people will do this. I always come back to this. The central thing is not to be afraid of how do I build a following. Just make really great content.
Yeah.
And you do that, and lots of people do that. Just focus on that and focus on the conversations, and it'll happen. It'll happen. It's going to happen. People are going to have to start again, and that's somewhat demoralizing. But yeah, you got to stop being afraid at a certain point. I'm glad they don't have that over me. I mean, imagine I'm in a position where I'm literally like, I lost a channel with 500,000 subs, and I'm like, and now they're back, and I'm like, yeah.
Nice, good. All right. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on, Dave. Can I just ask you, will you still be uploading to your YouTube channel, or aren't you sure yet?
Like at best, it might be the odd trailer. to say,
come and see me on BitChute.
come and see me over there. But I mean, I expect the channel to get nuked again, so I haven't really looked at it or focused on it. So, you know, they'll do what they want, won't they? And I'll do what I want. So.
All right, Dave. Well, listen, everyone who watches my channel, including me, you've been our go-to man for COVID over the last year, and I'm sure we'll follow you wherever you are. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for having me on. God bless. Take
Cheers,
care.
Dave. Ta-ra.
Bye. Bye.
Dave Cullen, how lovely. Oh, and you know what? I know what he means about that. Made peace with it, because it is always over your head. Every time I wake up, I've got a couple of emails from YouTube. So far, they've always been, you've got a community guidelines, not a strike or whatever it is. I still don't even know what they're called. I don't read them. But, you know, I'm sure that one day it's going to be your channel's gone. You said too much. And when that happens, I'll be like, okay. But if so, as soon as I'll tell you this now, as soon as BitChute are streaming, that will be my main platform. I'll still stream on here if my channel's here, of course, because you do still get a few normies come along here. It does happen. But it would be nice to feel like I was building something that's got a bit of longevity, you know. And how weird is that? You know, how weird is that? In the early days of YouTube, people, it was like, nah, make content, you know, become a partner, make some money, do this, do that. And then what, 10, 14 years old later, hello, darling.
It's cold.
It is cold. You just got out of the shower. Yeah. Now it's just going to be cat videos, and this is what. And I don't know whether it was Dave or Sticks who said it, that you know, when BitChute was just a few conspiracy theory people and a handful of Nazis, they didn't care about it. But BitChute is now starting to resemble the early days of YouTube. There are people over there doing makeup videos. There are people over there with cats playing the piano. And with the numbers that Ray's told me he's getting, I think BitChute is something like in the top 800 websites in America. Incredible numbers, absolutely incredible numbers. So listen, people, I think there's a dark and cold winter happening in America, but I think it's overreach. I think, as David said then, there's people even on the left are going to be like, yeah, I don't know if I can support this. And good, because we're going to need those people, and we're going to need them soon. Yeah, DLive has never said it was a free speech platform. And everyone said, why haven't you got a DLive? Because it's just a question of them finding out about you. And you know how they find out about you? People like Hope Not Hate, ring them up. Yeah, you know that Dangerfield, he was grooming teenage Nazis. Look, we've got a 4-second clip we've put together out of 3 other clips. So listen, message especially to our American brothers and sisters, hold tight and stay strong, stay hopeful, having strength and having hope. I said it before, but I want to really ram this home. Having strength and having hope is needed most when it's the hardest. When you're ready to give up, that's when you've got to remain hopeful. That's when you've got to stay strong. And we can do it. Keep an eye out. Don't get too excited by weird stuff that you hear. If you hear something that ignites a little fire in you and a bit of hope, follow it up, cross-reference it, see if you can get other sources. Don't listen to lunatics telling you this is happening, because it's easy to buy into it because you want it to be true. I've done it. We've all done it. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you people. If my channel's still here, I will see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at About UK. And to be honest with you, I think this American situation will be what I'm focusing on, certainly for the next few weeks. It seems unfair to all freedom-loving Americans to not use my little platform to at least talk about this while I still can. So thank you all very much, and I will catch up with you about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and then 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Stay strong and stay full of hope, because it counts. Oops, hang on. I don't know if I've done the audio every time. Ta-da! And bosh. Oh, no. Don't put your faith in me. Not at the moment. I've had a terrible day at work as well. On top of the free world collapsing, my day job's been a proper nightmare today. Loads of people off sick, people getting COVID tests, you name it. Good Lord. Ta-da! Oh!
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in mankind. All the world loves the lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. Dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in mankind.
Thank you very much, everyone. We had 340 people today. Special thank you to Mosaic Labrador, and a special thoughts and prayers to our American brothers and sisters. Stay strong, people. We're with you. All over the world, people are with you. Take care. Ta-da.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind.
God bless the United States of America.